All right, welcome back. My next guest, he's a retirement guy and a darn good one, too. As a matter of fact, he's just won an award for his efforts, so we have to applaud him for that. I saw this next story and thought it was right down the fairway of what he does for a living. His tagline is to get retired and stay retired. Well, Fidelity, that big investment house, they recently released a study that found that 61% of those surveyed plan to just transition into retirement, with many expressing an interest in, say, working part-time or consulting or doing gig work. It looks like a hard and fast retirement date that might be on the way out. This is the quote I read. It was, "Retirement is being reframed," said Rita Asif. She's the vice president of retirement offerings at Fidelity Investments. "It's no longer a single date and instead is an adaptable stage in the next chapter. The most popular options include, say, taking on gig work or side hustles, starting a small business, and maybe even switching industries altogether." I want to hear what my next guest has to say about it, see if he's seen this kind of thing. So please welcome to the show, Mr. Craig Bolanos. He's co-founder and wealth advisor at VestGen Wealth Partners in Chicago. Craig, thanks for being on. All right, brother. No longer just a date, but maybe a phase. What do you think about that? Are you seeing something similar?
Yeah, the retirement model has completely evolved. I mean, gone are the days of what I call the golden pension, Scott, where everyone retires on a certain day, goes and plays golf, reads books, and has a barbecue. No, now people realize it's more critical than ever to have something to retire to. And based on longevity, more and more Americans are looking to retire into that side hustle, into that gig, consult, because they still want some level of intellectual gratification. Well, that's for half of the people in the study you're citing. The other half of the people are retiring to part-time work because they need to, due to the high cost of living, high property taxes, high health care, you name it, it's high everything.
All right, so 10 customers come into VestGen Wealth Partners and they sit down and talk to you. Of those 10, do you see the same ratio that they're quoting at the Fidelity in this Fidelity argument, or are you seeing it's still kind of a smaller deal? What are you seeing per se on the ground at the coalface?
Well, as a practitioner, Scott, here's what I know. We make sure that people know exactly what they're going to be retiring to, because if you don't define your retirement, how are you going to know how much income you're going to need in order to be retired? And then we develop sophisticated, time-tested cash flow models to make sure people's portfolios and resources are resilient. But when I do TV, radio, your programs, and others, yours are my favorite, by the way, what I find is this. I find that a lot of people end up suffering from reductions in force, global outsourcing, and they move into a stage of life where they're going to continue to work part-time and be retired because it's the best way to save their finances. Now,
I just thought of this because I was reading about it earlier today, and maybe I was going to bring it up next week, but I want to know about it now. But we've all talked about Social Security going away, 2033, whatever the argument may be, but everybody's always worried about what they're going to do. Are they going to cap it? Are they going to, phase something in, phase something out, whatever that may be? But I was reading something about this six-figure cap. Are you hearing about where they don't want to give any more than $100,000 to a household, $50,000 for each person, and that's how they're going to make the pot last longer or be able to give out more benefits to more people? Is that something that's come across your desk?
Well, you know what? Listen, there's different ways to slay the dragon, and all of this is going to unfold in that 2032 election. That's when everything becomes incredibly real because action has to be taken. So, Scott, whether it's an income cap, whether it's means testing, whether it's surtaxes, whether it's any combination of the above. That's why I think retirement planning in today's marketplace needs to be dynamically scored, means it needs to be variable. You've got to put a set of guardrails around some of these entitlement programs. In fact, I visited with a client today trying to determine, all right, what's going to be the cost of my health care prior to Medicare based on the various forms of premium tax credit subsidy from the ACA that are going to be here. And we too talked about Social Security and how are we going to handicap that? And if we don't get what we're currently projected to get, which accounts are we going to spin additional income up from? And is it long-term sustainable, not just to survive retirement, but to thrive in retirement? So Scott, anybody who's doing any real planning has to address that. And people got to be comfortable being uncomfortable talking about the changes that are going to be necessitated just a short 6 years from today.
Yeah, I love how you said that, because the reason why I brought it up is because the talks that you're just talking about having right there and then about this income cap or means testing or whatever for when it comes to Social Security and a few of the other ways that you're going to have income coming in, that has to play into whether you're going to have a retirement day or phase into retirement. I mean, that's going to be a big part of how you make those decisions. Is this going to be a phase in my life, or is it going to be a day in my life, if you get my drift?
Yeah, I think, and for everyone, it's their own path. But what I want people to start doing right now is do the easy stuff. Get an inventory about all of your assets. After you have an inventory of all of your assets, number two, I need everybody to create a budget. You've got budgets at work. Why shouldn't you have a budget at home? Tell your money where to go instead of wondering where it went. And then number three, start to curate a well-orchestrated, goals-based or cash flow-based retirement plan so you can see if you're on track to what you expect. But part of being on track is to know what you want to retire to and then hire great professionals, turn into great content like the content we're having right now, Scott, on your television program, and then you too will find a pathway to success.
And like we tell investors alike, we tell farmers alike, anybody that's in the money business or anybody that's in a revenue generating business, the best thing you can do is have a plan. Sometimes it looks ugly, but you can't ignore it and put it away and hope it's going to get better. You can't wish, like the commercial says, you can't wish a better retirement. You have to take a look at the numbers and make a plan, whether it may be a farmer, a fireman, or whomever. And that's why people like you are around, and that's why people like you win awards. I know you just won one, and it's a fantastic honor. You do a great job, and we get a lot of people that write in and say they love what you have to say, Craig. So we really appreciate you coming on the show. Craig Bolanos, he's the co-founder and wealth partner in VestGen Wealth Partners up in Chicago. Thanks for being on the show.